Reaction of the Togolese government following the publication, by the Court of Accounts, of the Audit Report of the COVID-19 Response and Solidarity Fund, FRSC, Management 2020, a real leap forward, a state gangsterism, a end consecration of pure impunity 1. In a statement made public this Thursday, the 9th of February, 2023, the Togolese government said to take note of the Court of Auditors Audit Report and welcomes that the report considers spending related to barrier, retaliation or sanitary measures to be compliant, regular and sincere. 2. Now that's what you call a forward run. This is state gangsterism and the consecration of impunity in the pure state. 3. Togo state government is on the run. Let it be judged. 4. Let's recall in 2012, the gossiping that the National Commission for Human Rights, CNDH, report on the acts of torture suffered by the people arrested in the infamous Kpatcha Gnassingbe case and co-accused, with the sole purpose of altering the truth. The chairman of that commission at the time of the incident, is now forced into exile. 5. Then we recall the Vincent Bolloré case, where the Paris Court of Judicial had clearly stated that there was corruption of foreign public agents and that the sovereignty of Togo had been violated, but that Mr. Gilbert Bora, Minister of Public Works, Labour and Social Dialogue, said on a local private radio that the Togolese state has no reliable element of the case that is currently underway in France. We don't have to make any special commitment, we don't have to give any assurance, because we don't feel concerned. Professor Kpatcha Gnassingbe, his colleague and communications and government spokesman, remains adamant on the international channel TV5 Monde. The position of the government is not to comment on proceedings in the jurisdictions of a foreign country, so in Togo, this matter remains buried for the time being because it is misusedly qualified as French by our illustrious rulers. 6. Finally, we recall the reaction of the Minister in charge of Human Rights, and government spokesman, Mr. Christian Trimou, on the audit report produced by the Inspector General of Finance in the Petrolgate case. This report branded as evidence is not reliable. 7. These are forecasts and signs of the times that must not deceive. Making an analysis on the impacts of COVID-19, Mr. Michel Caballero, Editor-in-Chief Industry and Services, had already mentioned, in his article entitled How France Imagines a Possible Implosion of Africa in the Face of COVID-19 published on the 1st of April, 2020 at LA Tribune. Let's share the economy, and by doing reference to Kpatcha query in relation to the terrible impact that the COVID-19 crisis will have in Africa, and based on evidence raised by the Centre for Analysis, Forecasting and Strategy, CAPS, that evokes a possible collapse of the states in place. 8. CAPS has indeed rightly pointed out the inevitable embezzlement of public property, starting with masks, and upcoming international health aid, already denounced as COVID business, can easily crystallize the latest credit loss of leaders. https www.latribune.fr, comment La France Imagine. 9. This analysis is broadly and effectively explanatory of the Togolese situation, which will certainly not take long to follow Senegal's footsteps. After the multiple restrictions on political freedoms and their enormous impacts on human rights, it's time for economic freedoms to take a hard hit. This will not go unpunished no matter how long it takes. 10. This wave of contempt, disloyalty to a murdered people, and the procession of violations of political and economic freedoms that is the direct consequence of this, will inevitably take with it the entire Togolese government team that agreed to endorse this flat 11. For as our governors were asking the people to tighten their belts to cope with the economic and financial constraints imposed by the COVID-19 crisis, they would loosen theirs to dilate the belly as too full, so they can swallow again and again, to accumulate more beautiful, with Rafal Nyamak Pandey's air.